And of course, the guy that drew the best numbers starts on the pole of heat number 1. The guy that draws the worst number starts at the last spot in the last race. The guy that drew the pole tonight, Ricky Weiss. The guy that drew the worst number, Kevin Sexton. So, by the way, the NLRA was on a grueling 5-day run last week with races Thursday and Friday in Ada. Wednesday, Thursday in Ada, Friday in Fergus Falls, Saturday in Alexandria, and Sunday at Buffalo River Speedway in Glendon. Now, starting Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. All right, thanks. We'll talk about racing later. Go ahead.
Hey, thanks very much, Pat Moody. It is time for your Old Dutch Stuff Your Face contest. We have 3 young contestants. The idea, open that bag of chips as fast as you can, eat the entire bag of chips, and turn the bag upside down, making sure you have no chips left in the bag. The winner of this contest will get 2 tickets to the upcoming Monster Truck Show next weekend. That is Monster X, July 10th and 11th. Tickets available right now at the Shirt Shack and online at redrivercoopspeedway.ca. All right, kids, here we go. It's time for your Old Dutch Stuff Your Face contest. First one to eat that entire bag of chips wins 2 tickets to the Monster X Monster Truck Show next weekend.
Dan, I got a question.
Sure.
If a guy was to come down there and say eat the bag and all, that would be good, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
These little girls aren't, I mean, they're, you need someone my size to show you how to eat chips.
Anybody close yet? Who's going to win it? 2 tickets to Monster X, July 10th and 11th. 2015 right here at Red River Co-op Speedway. There's a Friday night show, a Saturday afternoon show, and a Saturday night show. Don't forget, when you're finished your bag of chips, tip it upside down and we can't see any chips come out.
I'll tell you, girls. I'm sorry, Darren.
Go ahead.
I just, like I say, you can't have 60-pound girls showing you how to eat food. You can eat a big fella like me, I'll show you. I'm going to let one of my secrets out of the bag. You open it, smash them all, pour it all in your mouth.
There you go. How about that?
Huh? Well, they don't like it. What are they going to win here?
Lots. Anyway? Okay. Are you almost done?
What do they win? Don't say another bag of chips.
We got a winner. How about it? 2 tickets to Monster X. I would ask you your name, but your mouth's still full. And we're going to give away some Castrol Edge Frisbees, but 2 tickets to Monster X. Monster X right here, July 10th and 11th, next weekend at Red River Co-op Speedway, Pat.
Now that's a good one. I like that one. That's something I could win. All right, so as I started to tell you, last week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 5 days of racing. Ricky Weiss started off with a win in his heat and the feature in Ada on Wednesday. Followed it up with a win in his heat and his feature in Ada on Thursday. Followed it up with a win in his heat and his feature on Friday in Fergus Falls. And in Alexandria experienced mechanical problems, but they were looking for a sweep of the whole weekend, and the way they were going, it looked like it might happen. Starting on the pole is that same rocket, Ricky Weiss in the 7W, sponsored by AIE Communications in your Bell store. Stefan Snare outside in the 71. Stefan's from Hallock, Minnesota. Those are both Bloomquist cars on the front row. Both those cars on the front row are Bloomquist. Second row, a pair of Masterbuilts. The 14 is George Balkin in the Balkin & Sons Plumbing and Heating entry. To his outside, the 71 is Rick Fawcett in the Fawcett Auto Body Curtis Carpet 71. On row 3, that's an MB Custom, one of the boutique chassis. That is Walt Morris in the Winnipeg Dodge entry. And to his outside in a rocket, the 16 is Jeff Hoppala out of Fargo, North Dakota. Here we go. Yellow flag for Rick Fawcett, stuffs it into the front guardrail. That's not good. Those things are sunk into the ground on about 6 feet of timber, so the car usually loses those arguments. How the NLRA does their lineups for the feature, there's 3 heat races tonight. So the top 3 drivers will draw. And how it works is this way. For example, if you are lucky enough to be in the top 3, the winners of all 3 heat races draw amongst themselves. Then all the second place finishers draw amongst themselves. Then the third place finishers in the heat races draw amongst themselves. So in other words, the winner of the heat races can't start worse than third and could start second or first. Continuing on down the line, the second place finishers in the heat races can start no worse than fourth, or rather no worse than sixth, and no better than fourth. So they take the top 3 and draw amongst the winners, then draw amongst the second place finishers, then draw amongst the third place finishers, and that's how we line up the feature. Some guys draw better than others. Some say when it's going your way, it's temporary. When it's not going your way, it's going to come around. But in any case, unfortunately, you see Ricky Weiss out there rolling around the top side of the racetrack. Up until the modifieds came out, it was about 1.5 lanes wide heading into turn 1. So the modifieds have widened it up some, and some of the drivers out there in the late models trying to widen it up some more. These cars, barely, they fit in these trailers and touch both sides. So they're about 7 feet wide. And they take up all the room in the trailer, depending on which kind you've got. But you're welcome to visit the pit area later on tonight. The Derek Sandblasting number 7. Keep an eye as the sun sets and the race goes on later on. You'll see lots of sparks from the rear of the number 7. And that is brakes. The brakes on those Bloomquist cars are in a different place on the rear end housing than all the other manufacturers. So when you see Ricky later on, if he's using the brake, if you see him using the brake later on, you'll see sparks flying out of the rear of that car, or at least around in under the body at the back. That is, they have kind of a cross between a normal set of brakes and an inboard brake on that 7 car. Now, the rotors are $250 a piece, just the rotors, and they say you got to change them every 4 or 5 nights. Now the 71 car is the same chassis manufacturer. Ricky Weiss, our leader, has a Bloomquist, and the 71 of Stefan Snare is also a Bloomquist. And those are, we talked about the MB Custom being a boutique chassis, as is the Bloomquist car. Any late model fan has heard of Scott Bloomquist. They build awful good race cars, and they've got that one going on, let me tell you. So we're 1 lap to green. And while we got that moment, I want to remind you to get out there and have an adventure with deals and packages on Jeep vehicles in the prairies. From consumer cash offers to discount to packages, to visit your local Prairie Jeep dealer and find the great deals on select Jeep vehicles that are also good for your budget. That is your, excuse me, Prairie Jeep Retailers, your sponsors on this night's program. All right, lined up and 9 laps to go out of 10. Top 3 get to draw. Here we go. Great race up front. Ricky Weiss is under attack. The 71 of Stefan Snare closing in. White flag, one more for Ricky Weiss. Checkered flag, Ricky Weiss in the 7 car. Walt Morris gets third. Walt Morris in the number 9 gets the final draw spot. Second goes to the 71 of Stefan Snare. And your winner, the 7W, Ricky Weiss.
When Frank wanted a new garage, he called Garage Masters. Bart didn't. While Bart called about permits, surveys, tree, fence removal, and improvement grants, Frank didn't. That's what Frank, one call, does it. 553-3000 or visit garagemasters.ca.
All right, getting ready now with late model heat number 2. These are your Starbucks Credit Union late models here on NLRA night right here at Red River Co-op Speedway. Want to remind you next weekend, July 10th and 11th, Monster X here. The Monster Truck Series will be right here at Red River Co-op Speedway. Get your tickets right now. They are limited in numbers. Get them right now at the Shirt Shack or at redrivercoopspeedway.ca. You can even buy an entire private deck for you and 10 friends for either the Friday night show, Saturday afternoon show, or Saturday night show. That is Monster X next weekend, July 10th and 11th, right here at Red River Co-op Speedway. Here's how they line up for heat number 2. Out of Grand Forks, North Dakota, starting on the pole in the 9A car is Steve Anderson. Outside in the Silmac number 10 out of Winnipeg, this is Mike Balkin. Inside row 2 out of Grand Forks, North Dakota, the 71D is Dustin Strand. Outside out of East St. Paul, the 5E is Shane Edgington. He is sponsored by Red River Messenger Courier and General Signs. Inside row 3 in the 55 car, this is a Martin Diesel 55 of Mike Martin and Bill Mooney in the Lucas Oil McPhillips Toyota Weedman 2M out of Selkirk. That is a Masters built chassis, and that car has been working extremely well for him this year. So Starbucks Credit Union late models heat number 2 here on NLRA night right here at Red River Co-op Speedway. 10 laps on the AIE Communications board. Steve Anderson getting ready to pick up the throttle, and he does. We're racing, but Balkin gets the whole shot. Mike Balkin heavy on the throttle. That is a black diamond chassis new to Mike Balkin for 2015. It has a Miller Racing engine on board. Dustin Strand in the 71 car charging. A pair of Grand Forks, North Dakota drivers getting at it for second and third. The Q&Z 71 of Dustin Strand now third. Shane Edgington now showing some horsepower in that Miller Racing Engine's 5E. He comes up to join the party. The Avonlea True North Motors 5E currently in the 4th spot. Steve Anderson and Dustin Strand really getting at it on the back chute. Wow. Great racing. Here comes Strand once again. In the realtruck.com 71. Anderson, though, continuing to hold him off. Wow. Bill Mooney up to the 4th spot in the Lucas Oil OMG's 2M. Edgington right behind him. Mike Balkin with about a half a straightaway lead on second place, Dustin Strand, with 3 laps to go on the AIE Communications board. White flag out for Mike Balkin, your leader. Strand second, third, the Sensky and Sons. Number 9 out of Grand Forks, Steve Anderson. But look at Shane Etchington. He is charging. Your winner is going to be the Emery Demolition North Star 10 of Mike Balkin. Second to Strand. Here comes third, fourth, and fifth. It's going to be Anderson, then Edgington, then Mooney. Great racing right at the end of that second heat of your Starbucks Credit Union late models. Wow. No doubt about that. Mooney, Steve Anderson, and Shane Edgington in the Avonlea 5E putting on a fantastic last lap here. Balkin, of course, with a big win here in heat number 2 in the Silmac Trucking North Star, number 10 out of Winnipeg. He has over 35 championships in his portfolio and has been racing for over 30 years. All right, well, we still have one more heat of Starbucks Credit Union late models set to come your way. And here's how they're going to line up. In the 12S car starting on the pole, this driver is out of Grand Forks, North Dakota, and sponsored by Bergstrom Electric and Nestle. The 12S is Brad Sang. He is a former national Superstock champion in Wazota. Outside, out of West Fargo, North Dakota, making his first ever appearance, I do believe, here at Red River Co-op Speedway, the 44S is Cole Schill. Inside row 2, the 88 is Paul Viert out of Winnipeg. Outside, out of Fargo, North Dakota, the 30 is Adam Fisher. And rounding out the field in late model heat number 3 out of Lorette, Manitoba, is the veteran Kevin Sexton in the 8.
I hate to correct you, but the 44 car was up here last year, and if you remember, led most of a feature and had a tire give him trouble.
I don't remember.
Yep. And
he will, though.
Oh, he will. He does. That's Masters built as well, a new 2015 Masters built, and Cole's been running very well this year. The 30 car, Adam Fisher, that is a rocket, and that is a car that Cody Skidland raced a couple of years ago, for those of you that are late model fans. All right, we're about ready to go. Brad Sang, that is an MB Custom. Those are one of the most expensive race cars on the market, but that car is 5 years old. And it's so good that he's afraid to get rid of it. He sends it back to Jimmy Mars every year to get it gone through from bumper to bumper. But it's been so good for him that he's hanging on to it. Here we go for the Prairie Dodge Retailers. Cole Schill continues to lead this one in the Schill Racing Aluminum number 44. Second, it's Brad Sang in the 12. Third right now, the final draw spot, is Paul Viert, but he's got Kevin Sexton on his back bumper. This time by, one to go. Cole Schill shows the way. Checkers are waving. Cole Schill grabs the victory. Brad Sang grabs second. The final draw spot goes to the number 88 of Paul Veert. Top three. Boy, it's been a good night to start on the front row, hasn't it? Woo. Well, we're going to take an intermission break here now, so we encourage you to get a 50-50 ticket. Go get one of those big burgers that Mark brought up here. Tell him, hello, Rod. Tell him you want one that, like, Pat had. Oh, boy. Oh. Candy toss is happening in the QX 104 Family Fun Zone. If you want to get in on the candy toss, you can get back there and get ready to take part in that. And we'll be back in just a little bit. We want you to get yourself something hot to eat or cold to drink.